Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Madison. Nice to meet y'all. Just recently moved to Birmingham about 2 years ago, so glad to be here. And I'm a full-time working artist. I've got a studio at Forstall, teach class a week, so yeah. So happy to
We're
be
thrilled to have you join
Happy
us.
to help
Okay.
with
Our
it.
demo artist next month.
That's
That
wonderful.
too, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, and I know I saw Andy come in. There you are. Go ahead and stand up, Andy, and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andy Forstall. I work at Forstall Art. I'm not a full-time artist, but I love art and I'm curious about what y'all do, so I decided to join and I'm excited to be part of the group. So thanks for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And Andy was kind enough to bring some flyers. They're over here on the desk that talk about workshops and
And let me just say, so we're having our sip and shop this Saturday. Y'all are all invited. Philip's gonna be making gumbo, so if you want some free gumbo, come on down. We'll also be doing demos and giveaway raffles. So if you don't win anything today, it's a giveaway. You'll have a chance on Saturday. We're doing like 6 raffles throughout the day.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
come to our sip and shop.
sip and shop.
Yeah, we're doing up to 50% off our art supplies. So, good deal.
Yeah, and you get gumbo on top of that.
And it's good.
Well, thank you for bringing that information. Do we have any other visitors with us today? Can't see because of the camera. Okay. I'm gonna turn it over to Charlotte to give our quick treasurer's report.
Very quick.
Okay, our beginning balance, can you hear me? Our beginning balance was $10,555.34. We had one expenditure of $250, and so our ending balance was $10,305.34.
Any questions about that? All right, thank you, Charlotte.
Job well done.
Okay, Susan, real quick.
135.
We have a Susan of a membership. We do have 135 members now in Mount Brevard. Do you want to give any instructions about renewing membership?
It's best to do that if you'd like to be a member. Of course, I think most probably all y'all are members now, but,
It's
if
time
you
to
want
renew.
We have the form online, and we really prefer that you fill that out. If you haven't, and you're a member, please go there.
Yes.
There are a few members that I have no information for other than your name, and maybe something I saw on PayPal.
It is,
So the form is on the website, it just says membership form. I appreciate it if you do those, and anybody you recruit. We don't like to use paper anymore.
yes, we're getting away from that. But I will say, the great thing about that, the best thing about that is, it has been designed to where you fill that form out, and it goes to 5 people. The treasurer knows there's money coming in to go look at PayPal. I know that you've joined, and I can send you a welcome email. I mean, it goes out. It goes to Janet for our directory. It goes to membership. It's just a very useful thing if you can do it online. Super, super easy to do it that way. So y'all be thinking about going ahead and renewing for next year. I wish we had what Alabama Plain Air has, which is they send invoices, which was super easy. And I thought that would be maybe that's a challenge for next year. Okay, I want to get a quick word from Beth Bates to come up and talk about our spring show for next year.
I'm gonna bring Beverly.
And Beverly with her. Y'all come together now.
There's
These are the fans. I know. You have to talk like they can hear you.
This is to not confuse you further. This is Beverly, and I'm Bev. Just real quick, we just wanted to say that, we're working on the show, and we're gonna have sign up early next year. We'll let you know in December when it's gonna be, and we're hoping we can get it a couple of weeks earlier. because we've got some big plans for, some publicity. We hope we can do the group picture in February, that's why we wanna get it done, so if we don't open it till February, I'm just gonna tell you, hurry up and get it done.
And explain what the group photo is. for
Yeah,
new people.
we do a group photo to use for publicity, and it goes in, over the Mountain Journal, but we're gonna try to get it in, the, Village Living and, some other things too. So, and those close, their deadlines are closer, so just, if you're new and you haven't done the show, you can go to the website and get information. Now, it hasn't been updated yet, but there's still a lot of good information there, about what the rules and, what kind of things you can show. And so just go there, and we will be updating it depending on when we get the website.
Yeah. And that's May,
The show is Saturday, May the 4th, from 9 to 5.
just wanna lock that in if you're interested in participating. Okay.
I'd just like to add, we do encourage you to participate in the show and also to volunteer, and some people do both. And I'm learning that this is a big event, a big deal to put together, but you all always have come through, and I've just been impressed from day one when I joined this group, at how professional the shows are. It's just amazing. So we will be sending out, or getting at the meeting, a sign-up sheet for you to join in any number of ways. We need lots of help. So I know you'll come through. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
I told her she was much better.
You're both great.
Mention one thing, I don't know if any of you have heard of this Best of Mountain Brook, Best of Hoover, Best of Shelby County competition. Well, we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it, but I wanted to let you know that in December, we're gonna send you an email and let you know what to do if you want to help us try to get mentioned in that. There'll be like nominations and voting. Nominations are in January, voting's in February. So, if we all band together and do our part, nominate and vote, we might can get in there, so. And that would be
Great.
good publicity.
Yeah, it would be great, and the timing would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They announce the winners in their May publication, so
That would be perfect.
Great timing.
they'll be early enough.
Thank you, ladies, I appreciate that. We've got a few items of old business. The rebranding committee, do you wanna speak, or?
I'll
Okay.
say a couple words.
I didn't tell you I was calling on you, but
Wow, this is interesting.
I know it is.
So we are in the process of the logo, and we're down to the wire. We have picked our top 5 with our team, the ones that we like the best, so that we'll be sending that email for y'all to go and vote on your favorite.
I'm so
That's fine. We want everybody to participate in that, so please, please, please be looking for that email. We have also gone away from SurveyMonkey. They just continue to go up $100 every year in their fees. So it's not worth it for as little as we use that service. So to pay what they're asking at this point. So we're going to be using Google Forms to vote with. So if you're familiar with it, it will come through the club's email address, just like any other email you get. You will get a survey and click the, go to the survey button on the email, and it will take you to a page just like the SurveyMonkey, and you will vote that way. So just be looking for that. And also, we are really looking at the new website now, and I don't have a timeline on that for you, but just know that in this whole process of the show and everything, we hope to be rolling out a new website when we can. And I've had Susan Johnsey to say she wants to help me with that this morning, so I'm real excited about that. And anybody else that's real familiar, you need to be real familiar with how WordPress works and the operations of the interface. If you're interested in helping us, that would be wonderful. We'd love it.
Great, gosh, that's a lot going on. Thank you so much, Christy. So are you taking the position as tech administrator, or are you just gonna help?
No,
Are we
she's
still
just
looking
gonna,
for
yeah,
tech
we're still
administrator?
looking.
Okay, so.
But we're
just-
gonna be the team right now.
We're doing a team right now.
Yes.
But we are looking for, as Christy takes on the role as president next year, she does all of our tech administration. So we're looking for some help in that area. And if it takes a team, that's great. We can do that. If you're interested in just one part of it, that's great. Just get involved. We've got a large group of people. We have 135 members. This is something that's really easily to get involved in. So come see me or Christy if you are interested. So the newsletters have gone out, correct, Janet?
Yes.
Okay, so you should have gotten your newsletters if we have your email address. Again, that goes back to that form that you fill out online, and it goes to all the right places. So it's a wonderful newsletter, and Lisa Pruitt worked with Janet on it this time. So just to touch base on that, Delana recently got an award, and I told her that she needed to send that information to Janet so we can make sure it gets in the next newsletter. So any of you participating in anything or awards, we want to publicize this. This is part of our interacting as a group. So please let Janet know that. The ballot for the board officers will go out this evening. You think?
Yeah, they can.
It can go out this evening. Okay.
I'm doing that
done.
too.
We have all the nominations. You guys were informed at the last meeting who our nominees were, and we've also put that out there in the form of an email. So the ballot will be coming through again, the Google Forms, but it'll come from the website. And we're really trying hard, just for your information, to label all of our emails in the subject line MBAA. Because if you're like me, you get so many emails, and it would be nice to sort it that way. So just be looking for that ballot. We need you to vote on that pretty quickly. I have some real fast new business. Jenny Deason called me. There is an individual who is with First Presbyterian Church downtown Birmingham. They have their gallery will be open for the month of December, and they're looking to put together a combined show of different artists. And she thought it might be something that some of you guys might be interested in. She said they can have up to 30 paintings they can host. They have a gallery wire system, so they can make it as small or as big. So if you think you might be interested, you would do your own tags. You would do, it would just be delivered there. It has to be hangable. And you have to put the price on it. Their secretary collects the money, and they do ask for a 10% donation to the church of any proceeds. But if you think you might want to put a couple of paintings in for December that are just sitting around and you're not using them, First Presbyterian in downtown Birmingham, see me. I've got the girls' information rather than tell you all of that. I can put it on their website or on our email. So see me about that if you think you might be interested. Her name is Megan Westbrook. But it's just for the month of December. So, and just in closing, before I turn this over to Martha to introduce our program, I just want to let you know I've enjoyed this year. It has been a wonderful year to be your president. We have grown. We have tackled some challenges. The new logo is a huge thing. We've talked about it. That was the first thing everybody told me when I became president. We want a new logo. We did a survey, and guess what? Y'all voted, and you do want a new logo. We've added a board position to kind of help better prepare our treasurer position. So we now have a treasurer-elect. That was something that we just recently voted on. After we're rebranding, we're going to a new website that's going to be much more interactive, where you can actually update your own page, which will help free up the tech administrator. But we had a wonderful spring show with Nikki and her team. It was I just think our spring shows are just the best in Birmingham. I really do. And we're looking to grow that. We have opportunity to go that way with it, but we need enough artists to make it worthwhile to go that way. So just want to thank you guys. I've enjoyed it, and this will be our last meeting for the year. So we'll meet again in January. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Martha to introduce Miss Barbara.
Thank you, Kathy. You've
Thank
done a
you.
great job.
You've done a fantastic job, Kathy.
Oh, thank
So
you.
appreciate everything. And we're looking forward to Christie.
It was on something.
Gonna have some elections coming up. She's our president-elect. I want to mention a few things before I introduce Barbara. We're really glad to have Madison here, and he is going to do our demo next month. And I talked to him a little bit about it. He does representational very well. I was looking at his website, but he also does abstract. And I wanted to get him to talk about that a little bit because I think some people are very interested in that, and we don't have a lot of those come in, and we wanted to represent everybody and get to know different methods of painting and different thoughts. So I'm looking forward to hearing Madison in January. So y'all come to that one. It'll be here. We're gonna meet 2 more times. Sorry about everybody. We're gonna meet 2 more times, and it'll be here, and then January and February, and then in March we'll have our night meeting. So we'll start those back because the library is now open again. We don't know the dates yet of that, but we'll have it soon. Also, any demo ideas, if y'all want to ask me just any ideas, I'm going to just assume I don't know. Somebody else might want to take this job next year, but I offer to do it if y'all will have me. And would like to and jump the gun a little, Howard. But you know, if you have any other ideas for demos, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And we have door prizes. If you have not signed up, if you had not signed in today, walk around to the back because there's all this stuff. And walk around to the back and go over here and sign in. And you'll want to be on that list because we draw door prizes from that. So, okay, let's get going. Everybody has been so excited that Barbara is coming back. And I have too, and I just love Barbara. And she's been a friend for about 10 years probably, and she's in my Pioneer group. Several of us are in Alabama Pioneer Artists, and she doesn't get to paint with us much anymore, but I've just enjoyed just a dear person on top of being a wonderful artist. So she was born in Montgomery and raised there and been there all her life, I guess. Went to school there, went to Auburn University Montgomery, and majored in fine art there. Her dream was was to do art full time, but she had to work in the banking industry for a little while, and then in 2010 she was able to step away from that, and she does her painting full time. And if you follow her at all, you know she paints every single day, maybe more than one a day, which is very impressive. But she is committed to doing that, and I admire that deeply because I'm nothing like that, and I want to learn from that. But anyway, she's done numerous. She's probably known not only in the Southeast but probably in the country because she is an excellent artist and has won many, many awards. A lot of them local, and then a lot of them national. Too many to list here. I'm going to just name a few. She did Intergen, and she's done for Cook Museum of Natural Science, the U.S. District Courthouse in Alabama, and then Jackson Hospital. She's just done paintings all over. I'm sure she has paintings everywhere. She does wedding paintings, wedding venue paintings. She's slowing down on that one. She's a member of Oil Painters of America, Portrait Society of America, and a signature member of the American Impressionist Society. And she's in Beverly McNeil Gallery here. Also the gallery at Vignettes and Local Market in Auburn, and then Local in Bloom and the Waterhouse Gallery in Pike Road. She lives in Pike Road down near Montgomery. So just want to welcome Barbara back, and we're so excited. She's going to do a still life for us. So y'all give her a hand.
She is so sweet, y'all. Y'all are lucky to have her, I know. Yes. And I tell you what, I feel at home because so many of y'all I know, and y'all have Madison from Montgomery now. So I wish I lived in Birmingham and could be up here all the time and paint. But between teaching at Forstall and my involvement with Alabama Plein Air group, and then was something, oh, Beverly McNeil, all these things. I've got a lot of friends in this crowd, so I thank y'all for coming, and it's good to see you. So I hope y'all enjoy it. Yes, the plein air group just changed my life. If I could suggest anything, if you want to improve your painting, I'd say paint plein air, because it made me better. And then I just got the bug, and I couldn't stop. So I would do it before I went to work at the bank. I'd go out and paint, or go out in my car at lunch, or meet a friend right after work, try to paint a sunset, or whatever. So the more I did it, the better I got. It really does make you see things better. And I attribute that improvement to the plein air group that I first started working in. And then I was able to get in some galleries and, in some shows and things that gave me confidence. And then I ended up being able to do it full time. Praise the Lord, because it's what I've prayed for forever. I never thought I'd be able to do it. And it's just been a wonderful blessing. So here I am, though, not painting plein air, but painting still life. Is that plein air? If you paint it from life, would you call it maybe?
It's in the inside air.
That's right. We're in the air. We're breathing. But I brought some similar kind of paintings of pumpkins and fall kind of things I've done before over there. Brought some cards if y'all want to. And I brought this. Some of y'all probably all do this. I don't know if y'all want me to talk about almost like teaching
everything.
or if you just want me to paint.
Yes.
I can't help myself. I think
We want to know all the things.
Okay. So some of you probably do this already, like I know I've seen a lot of artists do it, like Don Whitelaw and Scott Christensen, and but there's an artist I follow, Michelle Wooderson. She's in Kansas. She's such a neat lady, and that's how I first saw these craft paper, little sketchbooks. So some of them I've done with markers, and some with, Conti crayon or something, and then some with oil. I mean, it dries like in a day. So people are like, "What? You're painting oil on this paper?" It just dries in a day, really. So when I go out plein air painting, like this is plein air, sometimes I'll do a quick little sketch, or just to get my mind wrapped around what I might want to paint, So I did one of a little pumpkin the other day, because I was just thinking, how am I going to arrange this? So it's similar to this one, little sketch that I did the other day to get my mind around what we were going to do this morning, because I'm not going to go in blind, having not done anything. I did a little one yesterday like this to kind of get myself ready. But so we can talk about supplies. Somebody asked me about my easel. This is a Coulter easel. Some of y'all probably already know about it. Coulter. Kevin Coulter makes them, and I think I can't remember the name of his website, but if you Google Kevin Coulter or Coulter easel, and it's so lightweight, portable. Paints in here. It's even got this little lip, so if your terps fall over at the museum when you're painting a wedding, they would actually puddle in here. That happened to me, y'all. I was never been so thankful for an inch lip on a palette in my life, because it was like slow motion. My hand, I reached for a brush, my hand knocked the terp over, and it landed in here in the museum. Y'all, I tell you, this is one reason I want to give up painting weddings. Okay, it was a wedding reception. But anyway, this easel I purchased through that same, with Kevin Coulter with the palette. I love using the oil primed linen Centurion panels or canvas, but I love the panels. Outside that light doesn't come through a panel, so that's why I like those. Walmart paper towels. I love Gamblin paint, and I've got a few colors that are, am I standing right in the way? I've got a few colors that are either Williamsburg or Rembrandt. And on my palette, I have Gamblin Titanium Buff, Titanium White, Sap Green, Viridian, the King's Blue, which I think is Williamsburg. Then back to Gamblin Ultramarine Blue, Alizarin Crimson, Cad Red Light, Venetian Red, Cad Yellow Light, Yellow Ochre, Cad Yellow Medium, Raw Umber, and a Rembrandt Transparent Brown Oxide. So that's really a lot on this palette. A lot of times I'll just use 2 blues, 2 yellows, 2 reds. But because it's a demo and everything, and want to have everything handy, I'll put out more because I'm nervous. And then just Gamsol and let's see what else. Oh, silver Bristline are my favorite brushes. Getting it Forstall. You can get all the stuff at Forstall, really, can't you? But silver Bristline, I love those. Just a palette knife. This is a little tool I love too. This I got at Jerry's Artorama. It's an oil-based graphite pencil. It's called Jerry's what's it called? Super Jet Black something. Jerry's Jet Black, I think is what it's called, y'all. But it is really fun to add some little marks and things in there if you want to draw with it at first. And let's see, I think that's really about it for supplies. Oh, this little trash can thing is really cool. Art Essentials, it just folds up. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Very nice.
All right, so here we go. I brought this still life over here with this fall theme. And this canvas is a little big to tackle on a demo, but we'll see how far I get, huh? So I'm just picking up some transparent brown oxide and probably will mix it with a little raw umber just to tone the canvas. And I think, in my mind, I think I'm gonna let some of this drippy stuff just kind of fall and maybe vignette it, you know, because of time. I wanna.
This is acrylic?
This is oil.
Oil.
Uh-huh. If I vignette it, then I don't have to worry about filling up that whole canvas in a short amount of time. Did I mess you up, Martha?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I think I know more of y'all than people in Montgomery Art Guild now. I'm telling you.
Not me. That was my comment about this video, not you.
About what?
I just videoed myself. So.
Oh, you did? Oh, you said not me. I thought you meant you're not in the Montgomery Art Guild. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's great.
You got it.
A little bit closer.
Okay, so I just toned it, just to give me something on there. And I like to use raw umber usually for that because it just gives it sort of a neutral, natural linen. You know, have you ever got those Senso canvases, you know, that natural linen with the clear gesso? So, it, you know, it kind of gives you that little bit of a feel. So, something not too cool, not too warm. Now, the problem with the square, I got to be real cautious not to, I'm going to even draw a little faint line because I don't want to, you know, end up a pumpkin, you know, have it hit the middle and be distracting, so, or anything land right about there, but mainly this division right there. So, I'm gonna make sure that orange pumpkin comes out a little bit beyond the center. Holding my brush like a spatula and hold it back and lightly. I just did an online class with Haiti Jo Summers. Do y'all follow her?
Yes.
Oh, did anybody do her video, the thing that she did online a few weeks ago? So good. And she just was holding it. I think she was holding the brush way back there. She is so good. She's got some great books too. I should have brought some of hers.
What's her name?
Haiti Jo Summers. It's HAIDEE -JO. And then Summers, SUMMERS. She's in England and she's cute as a button. She comes to Plein Air South sometimes. I think she's coming back to Forgotten Coast. If y'all ever go down to Apalachicola, I know my Plein Air friends go down there a good bit.
When is Plein Air South this year?
I think it's, do you know Martha? May? March?
It's March. It's already full.
Yeah.
It's already full.
It's already
Yes.
full. They fill up fast.
Yeah.
It's, I've got March the 11th.
Who puts that on?
Forgotten Coast Organization, is
Yeah,
that
and
it?
then in combination with other Plein Air groups like
Okay,
ours.
okay.
It starts March.
So it's not a magazine or any, it's just a group.
Mhm. Although Plein Air Magazine is doing their big Plein Air event in North Carolina, right? That
Yes.
in April,
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
in April. And they're never on this side of the Mississippi. Okay, so I brought in my fake stuff today because sometimes when you know how it is, like especially this time of year, I go get hydrangeas at Publix, you know, yesterday, and I wake up this morning and they're, so I just brought this fake thing and some fake leaves. Same with the leaves, you know, they're gonna dry up by the time I got up here from Montgomery. So I just brought some fake stuff and I'll just take some liberties and not make it so blue, but I love to have that, you know, I'm an Auburn fan, okay? I know, I'm probably surrounded by Alabama fans. But we are lucky we've got complementary colors, right?
I wore my team colors today.
No comment from the So I just, I love the blue and white, the porcelain and the blue and the flowers, to go with that orange, you know, which can be so overpowering, I think sometimes. And all the Alabama fans said, yes.
Like Sandra Bullock, I will not wear that orange.
Yeah, right. Well, that Tennessee orange, that's different.
Is it? You're right.
That's right. Okay, one thing I kind of want to avoid too is, you know, I've got round pumpkin, round hydrangea. So when as I'm painting, I'm going to be trying to shape up these hydrangeas and putting in something a little more angular in there, so it's just not a bunch of, you know, round stuff. Okay, so I just kind of got it drawn in here. And y'all, this is the way I start every painting, whether it's a portrait or still life or whatever. Okay, and then what I'll do next is find my shadows. And I'm just using a little bit bigger brush here and mix up some shadow color. Sometimes I might just take a, you know, not real washy, but a little, you know, looser paint in raw umber. Or maybe I'll mix up a neutral, you know, with using two complementary colors to make that neutral light. And typically it'll be a transparent, so I'll use alizarin crimson and sap green maybe, you know, to get my neutral to block in there. And especially with the portrait, I'll use that mix a lot with the portrait. But I'm just taking a little bit of this that I toned with, but I'm just giving it a little white so it won't be too, I don't want it to be too washy. But I'm just going to scrub in where I see dark. Really dark down there. And I always, you know, try and think about this, that cast shadow of the objects in the still life. It's part of the design as well. I love this. There's a little bit of light, but peeking through there. These leaves have a shadow. But all of that's in shadow. And sometimes when you start doing this, you start to lose some of the drawing that you just, you know, labored over. But just don't worry about it, because it's the design that you're after, and it'll come back. You'll find it again. All this side is in shadow. I'm just looking at that hydrangea as a big sphere. And the pumpkin as a big sphere. I mean, I know I put some of these in there, but right now in my mind, I'm thinking of them as being spheres, not with all these little, you know, darks here and there, and lights here and there tucked in. I do plan to make the background, I think, dark. So I'm just going ahead and put that in so that I have a good idea of where all the darks and shadow, you know, darks will be. I think I'm going to pop a little light. Oh, I'm going to, in my mind, I've got a leaf coming out on that side of the hydrangea. So as I'm putting this into, like, I'll lose an edge over here, you know, in the background. Get a soft edge when your values are similar. The leaf that's partly in shadow over here. And that leaf, it's one way I can make some straight edges to contrast with all the roundness. That's why I brought those leaves really in the foreground. And then when I put this leaf, do y'all still have hydrangeas blooming? Because we do a little bit. Here and there, I saw a beautiful bunch of blue hydrangeas the other day riding around. Okay, so I've kind of got my roadmap here. And lights and darks, okay? And now comes the fun part of putting in some color. So I'll tell my students, you know, I like to paint dark to light, so I'll start in the shadow side, but just start with, it doesn't matter where, you know, but just if you see a color that you know you can get pretty easily, you feel confident with, just start with that and then see where it goes. So let's see, I think that orange is really beautiful on that shadow side of the pumpkin. So let's just, I've got some cad red light and some yellow ochre and a little bit of that transparent brown oxide. And also, that's a little too dark. So, well, you know, one golden rule is don't jump into your white too early, but I am gonna have to jump into it a little bit, cause I don't want it to be super dark over here. I'm saving that darkest dark for down there. But I'll paint my shadows in warm, and then my lights cool. Even if I can't really see it, and sometimes I can't, you know, like I've got a blue light. I say blue, it's got, you know, like closer to daylight, you know, 5,000 Kelvin is like north light. So mine, I think the one I could find at Home Depot was like 3,500. So that's what that is. And so, but I can't really look at that and say, oh, my light's cool. I can't really tell unless I have a, you know, contrast right away to show me. So, but I paint it like that. So I know my shadows are gonna be warmer. Like if I'm gonna put more maybe transparent brown oxide or maybe alizarin crimson into my shadows, and then white is the coolest color on your palette. So it's just logical as you move lighter, it's getting a little cooler, you know. When I'm outside in the warm light, I've got to compensate for that, and I'm moving light, the warmer light and the cooler shadows. So if I add white to make things lighter outside, it's cooling it off. So I've got to add a little like cad yellow medium or light to warm it up, or use like a Naples yellow or something like that, even though that's a cool yellow. Yeah. It's so confusing, isn't it? It is. Like I know. When you're talking to people who aren't familiar with it, it sounds like you're just, you know, it's like deer in the headlights. So,
I think it makes perfect sense.
I know. Gosh. Oh. And pumpkins are so funny with that shadow, with all those little ridges and things. It's just have to keep coming back to it and addressing it. It's like, you know how it's like swoops down, like you've got a triangular shaped shadow on those ridges in some places. Okay, so let's see, that's mostly the darks in there, so I'll just move on to that little yellow, or it's yellow, isn't it? It's not a white pumpkin, it's kind of yellow, but it's a hard color to figure out.
It's Naples yellow.
It is, it's Naples yellow. I should have Naples yellow. Andy, I should have gotten you wearing some Naples yellow.
Almost like a Titan buff.
I've got some titanium buff, and but it's hard to tell in the shadow what it is, isn't it? It's so, y'all have that book, Carol Marine, Daily Painting? Oh, it's the best, isn't it? I love it. Mine's falling apart. Carol Marine wrote a book called Daily Painting. It is fantastic. And she says if there's a color you can't identify, it's gray. And it's our job to figure out what gray it is. Is it green gray, yellow gray, purple gray, whatever, you know? So that's the way I think about it. When I see a color like that shadow on that pumpkin, like, I have no earthly idea. So I'll start comparing it to the whitest thing that I see. And the whitest thing I see is that highlight on the porcelain thing. So I'm just like, look, you know, you close your eyes, squint your eyes to see value, but open your eyes to see color. So I'm just looking at that real hard and kind of going back and forth. I still don't know. I think, you know, I'm going to start off probably with something greenish, and maybe put a little purple with it and see where that goes. So what do we have? We have every color, every primary, that makes gray. Purple, red, and blue. Green, blue, and yellow. So I've got a combo of everything, and it's going to be some gray. So I'll just have to figure out which way to lean it. I'm going to mix up alizarin and ultramarine, some white, and then start dipping into some yellow. And remember, I want to keep my shadows warm, so it won't be as blue or purple, purpley gray. That's real purple. As it will a warmer. So I'm picking up a little yellow, cad yellow medium now to see what we get. Still kind of purpley. So it's on my palette, it's looking very yellow, but when I put it up here, it's looking really purple. And the more of anything I put into it, it's getting darker. So I'm putting in a little white too. So this is a good base, and I'll go in and, you know, manipulate this stuff later too. I had this sitting up high when I did my little run through yesterday, and I could actually see the shadow. I can't really see it very well here, but this stem is casting a nice little shadow, but I can barely see it here. Okay, so that's basically the shadow side. I found that a mix of Viridian and transparent brown oxide makes a really pretty, mix for like the shadow side on porcelain, or even in a cloud, shadow on a cloud. So that's a handy mix for y'all.
What was it again?
It's Viridian and transparent brown oxide. And that transparent brown oxide is Rembrandt that I use. I don't know, Gamblin doesn't have it, but do you know, Andy, if any?
They have a transparent earth brown, like they have transparent earth colors.
Who's got, Gamblin does?
Mhm.
It's just a good, it's just a good basic neutral. And you gotta have it dark enough for that highlight to pop out on, And we can put in just even a little bit more Viridian over there. I'm gonna have to peek around because I don't want that to line up with that pumpkin. I'm gonna make it come out just a little bit further. Take some more artistic license. Okay, so now this hydrangea. I don't want it to be too bright blue. I just want to kind of dull it down, almost like those, turning hydrangeas. So I'm putting some Cad Red Light in with my ultramarine to, this is purple. To dull it down and sort of, still too purple. Dull it down and yet, desaturate it, but still hold on to some blue. I don't want it to be purple. Why is it still purple? Okay, I'm gonna add some yellow because, and y'all probably already know this, but if you want to dull something down, you add the complement to it. And if you can remember, Christmas, LSU, and Auburn, then you know the compliments, right? So because two yellow add purple, two purple add yellow, two orange add blue, two blue add orange. So that was so purple. So it's so easy to remember if you got a little system. Okay, I'm just adding some King's Blue into that mix.
So pretty.
And it's so pretty.
You've done this before.
You should tell them how you're holding your brush. That was one thing I loved in your class.
Yeah,
It
like
really,
spatula. Yeah,
yeah, and
Like-
it really did.
it changes,
It
doesn't
did.
it?
Uh-huh.
Because if you're like this, I mean,
Right.
you're drawing, right?
Yeah.
And you're down on it and everything. And even if you're back like this, it's kind of hard. It's like chopsticks. It's hard to.
Yeah, I loved the way you did
If you
that.
like you're scooping something or flipping pancakes, just hold it back. Now, I mean, honestly, I wish I could get used to holding it way back like that
Yeah.
and being real light with it, but I just can't. But I hold it about
Yeah.
there. But I'll keep trying because, like, I saw Haiti Joe Summers do that the other day. And it was her paintings are just so pretty and loose, and that's what they say. If you want to get looser, use a bigger brush, hold it way back, and just kind of let it flip around. That is mostly in light. Well, it's about halfway right here, so I could go darker over on this side. I'm kind of going back into that mix with some more purpley color, but and what I really like is the way it hangs over that pumpkin some. Gives you some dimension to it. And then when I come back later, I can put a little shadow, that's casted on the pumpkin and that kind of thing. Okay, and these leaves down here, they're tricky too, because they have all those little pointy shapes and it's hard to make sense out of foliage. And so if I can get one that sort of looks like a leaf, then you can, do two or something that where you really can see that it's a leaf. Then the rest you can just kind of loosely indicate and the viewer's brain will figure it out, Leave something to their imagination. Don't insult them by trying to spell it all out all the time. Okay, so now we've got this rug area and that leaf to tackle. How are we doing time-wise? We good?
yeah,
You're great, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just put in some dark green. Indicate a leaf, and this one. Okay, and this, I love Venetian red when I'm painting some kind of rug, and this is a fake rug. This is a piece of material I got at Hobby Lobby that I thought kinda looked, like a rug. So I don't ever really adhere to, it looking just like that, but it helps me get a little pattern in my mind and the colors I liked. And
Barbara, did you say Kingsplay, like King and Queen?
Hey, Carol. I have Williamsburg, I think, and then I have a Rembrandt. I think I have two in here, but this one is Williamsburg. Yeah. I've heard it's just ultramarine and white mixed together. It's kind of a convenience color, but. Okay, I'm just putting a little indication of where this rug is. Okay, so now I'll just move into some of the lights. Get this blocked in. So remember, I feel freer to go more into white because I'm in the lights and I'm wanting it to be cooler. So it's a pretty peach color in the lights, this pumpkin. You know what they say, value does all the work and color gets all the glory, right? I think we need to sign with that over our easels because the values are so important. Okay, so the color of that little pumpkin, my little semi-Naples yellow pumpkin over there, I'm gonna mix some cab lemon and titanium buff and white and see what that looks like. That's pretty good. See, I'll deal with all those little grooves and everything later on, but just right now, this is just, generally speaking, this is light and dark. Okay? So I can look around and see, do I see that anywhere else? Is it maybe this stem? I'll have it out, close to that. I always wipe it off, wiping that brush out. I do want to go darker with that before I go too far. I don't want to lose my light and dark pattern here.
Pay attention to her brush strokes. I mean, Barbara has mastered every which way.
You're sweet. Though, every painting I feel like is an exercise, and it's, learning something new. And continue to do it. So just popping in some lights. The dark of that pumpkin gives a nice opportunity, I think, to let some lights pop against it. And then let's see, I'm gonna come in with some darks, darker darks in different places right now. Like right down here is really about the darkest area that I see. And the pumpkin's casting a shadow on the orange pumpkin. There's this shadow here. And this it's kind of a purpley color, but it's warmer. It's more red. The shadow color I mixed up. It's really dark up there. But see, that is right in the middle. I mean, dead center of the painting. So I don't want to overdo that at all. I like the contrast, but I'm going to have to carry I think some of that darkness over so it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Dark shade, you can form the leaf and things around it by painting the negative space around it, you know?
Do you work in other mediums as well?
Sometimes I do watercolor every now and then, which is hard. Who asked me that? So, sometimes I'll do watercolor. It's hard, you know, to do watercolor. Yeah.
It is.
Every now and then I'll do, acrylic, but not much.
And do you travel with all this?
Yeah, well, no, I've never flown with it all, never. I've driven places that I should have flown because I don't want to.
Take everything with you?
I don't know how people do it. I mean, I painted a wedding in Austin one time, and it was Memorial Day weekend, and
Oh,
y'all, I don't recommend that. And I wasn't even driving. I was just gripping my door handle while my husband drove through Houston.
Yikes.
But this is the most convenient little thing, you know, to travel with and go on painting trips and things. It's just so easy to fold up, pack away. And one thing I'm doing at this point is I'm looking around to say, okay, I see that, for example, that is so much darker than the pumpkin, you know? It's darker than I thought it was initially. So I'm gonna go back to my little mix of Viridian and transparent brown oxide, make it just darker, because it really is crazy. It doesn't seem that dark, but when you, and I could go lighter on the pumpkin too, but still, I think it's much darker than what I had it being. So I'm, you know, just look at it, how does this relate to that? What, the thing next to it, is this, how much darker is it next to that little white pumpkin? It's just a survey, constant survey of all that kind of thing. And I'm sure I'm getting to that point where my words are probably not coming out like I want them to, so.
No, you're doing great.
If I forget to say something, y'all just don't feel free to holler out a question or anything.
Do you paint big sometimes too? How big?
You know, I paint a lot of large landscapes. I say a lot, not a lot. I paint some large landscapes like 36 by 36 or 48 by 48, 30 by 40, something like that, but no bigger than that. But I don't do that much because my studio is so small. I mean, it's like, Martha, you've seen it. It's small. It's so tiny, and I have one little window, and my easel's in a little tiny corner by one little window. It is, yeah. There's still, I mean, it's about as big as the easel in the stool, isn't it? And it's full of stuff, books and, you know, supplies and stuff like that. But it is so tiny. So if I paint big, it's usually a commission or something for Beverly McNeil, like they've asked me to paint something large, and so I'll go out in my garage and paint out there.
Use a bigger palette?
Nope, just use this
Same
one.
palette?
Mhm.
It's a little palette.
Yep,
What about your brushes? Do you use?
bigger brushes. Yeah, bigger brushes. But I really love painting small, and I love painting small little skyscapes, 4 inches by 4 inches, you know? Especially, I love these holiday shows that come up where you have to paint these little things. Those are my favorites. Okay, so now I feel like I've got it pretty much blocked in with light and dark. Maybe pop in, you know, let's do some leaves. I've kind of forgotten my leaves up here. I think there'll be some light coming in on the side of this leaf. And my imaginary leaf over here, I'm gonna pretend like it would probably get some light over the top of it. Okay, So I know in my mind where light and shadow all reside, and so now I can go in and modify within all of these masses, and let's come to a little bit of detail. I don't wanna, let's see, was it, what was his name? Everett, not Everett, in the black shirt. Ernie? Ernie, he asked me if I was gonna paint detail in that, cloth. And, you know, I won't, and I'll paint a suggestion of it, and that, even if I was painting for a longer length of time, or on a bigger canvas, I would just do a suggestion of the cloth. With a cloth, I'll just like look for patterns, you know, and repeat. If I can repeat something and give the impression of a pattern. And sometimes just leaving that roughness, it makes it look like a rug, you know, or a cloth or something. So I try not to cover all that up. Remember to step back a little bit.
Do you hold that paper towel roll that way the whole time?
That's probably why I'm gonna need shoulder surgery on this shoulder now. I've already had this shoulder done. But this one's starting to hurt. Have anybody ever had shoulder impingement? Ugh, murder. Oh gosh, y'all, it hurts so bad. But my left one's starting to hurt now, so I know it's coming. And this brush is way too little to use. I need to get a big one. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to get a method of here and pop in some lights. You know, one thing I learned from Susan Lyon, do y'all follow her? Yeah. She's so good. Susan Lyon, you know, she paints a lot of portraits, and she said that the most beautiful color will be found at that spot where shadow and light meet. So like if you're painting a portrait and you have a shadow down the, you know, the face, you'll have that rich color where the shadow and light come together. So I think about that a lot with like this pumpkin, for example. You know, where the, like maybe right there, where that.
Little filbert?
It's a
Short flat?
flat,
Okay.
it's a bright.
Right.
And I don't usually use the bright, I usually use flats, most all flats, and they turn into different things because I've just, you know, use it so much. Scrub them, they end up being round, or I don't know. So what I've mixed is just a little, you know, a pure orange, more rich orange, where that shadow meets the light. I think it does. I mean, I just, isn't it?
Just that one little bit.
Does it look different up here? You know, the most fun part is when you get to where you come in here with the, and I just got blue on my brush. Like, shame on me, I didn't wipe my brush out. But when you come in there with those lights and little subtle highlights. There's one painting over there, that pumpkin, the second one from the left, where I think I managed to get that rough texture of the pumpkin where the highlight is, and I don't think I've ever been able to do it again.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
Okay, good.
So we're back, and we're being back here, we can really see.
Yeah. So this, I love the way that those petals, you know, cast a shadow on that pumpkin, but I gotta be real careful not to make that like, you know, a strong like focal point, or have, you know, the things that give you a good strong focal point, work great when you're aiming for them to be focal points, but when you don't want something to be a focal point, you gotta think about it in a negative way. So like, you know, I don't want strong contrast, I don't want strong texture, I don't want strong color, where I don't want a focal point, so I don't want that there in the bullseye. So a lot of these hydrangea petals, especially if you have a real hydrangea, you can really see it. They have like a little straight, you know, the edge of a petal will have a little highlight. So it's an opportunity also to get some of the straight lines in here and not just have everything again round like we talked about.
What blue are you using?
This is a mix of King's Blue and ultramarine, just to darken it up a little bit.
Could I make a little announcement, Barbara?
Yeah.
Interrupt me if you've
Sure.
got to tell us something.
No, you're fine.
Y'all, one of the things I love about this group is that we share ideas and techniques and website ideas and things. But I found a company recently that I thought, I do not need this. I have a website. I keep my artwork organized on a spreadsheet of sorts. But y'all, this website, I mean, it's something you pay for like $100 a year or something. It's called Artwork Archive. Raise your hand if you use it.
What's it called?
Artwork Archive. And I had a couple of people recommend it to me recently, and I was like, where has this been all my life?
Is it easy to use?
Oh my goodness, yes, it's
Pretty good,
so
hey?
intuitive. No, I mean, if I send you a link, I might get $10 off. I'm not worried about that, but I just couldn't, my enthusiasm about it was so great, I just couldn't wait to share it with you all, because, I mean, I don't know about you all, but I've been doing work a long time, and I've kind of lost track of stuff. I mean, I have files and old computers that I'll never see again or whatnot. Transfer. Yeah, this is an entity that is accessible on any computer. You can send I can tell you all about it later. You can send pages to your potential clients. If you have a group of paintings that are going to be in an exhibition, it's just the most cool organizational tool. And I like to be organized, but I'm not always. Artwork Archive.
And discount
I would
code?
just say-
Do you have a discount code?
You know what I was thinking of, like, contact them and say, nobody will, I don't have a link for somebody, but I get that $10 off anyway.
So this stuff on porcelain, if y'all paint porcelain, some of y'all probably do, it's a fun thing to paint, popular. And just looking at that the shadow area of the porcelain, I think I am gonna make it its regular shape. I'm sorry, I'm changing my subject here real quick. I was gonna straighten it out a little bit more because of all the round stuff, but gosh, I love that little shape so much. But anyway, so I'm looking at the shadow side of the blue, you know, that's on the porcelain, so it's still darker over here than I let it be initially. But so where my shadow side on the porcelain is, the blue stuff that I'm painting on top of it is gonna be, you know, in shadow, and it's gonna be darker than the stuff that will get over here into the light. It's amazing how dark white stuff can be in shadow. And you know, another thing, like when you're talking about all the color, cool and warm and all that jazz, there's this one phrase that is so true, but I always have to stop, go real slow when I say it or I'll get it mixed up. But what is this? Anything in shadow is darker than anything in light, or anything in light is lighter than anything in shadow. So black in shadow is light. I mean, white, say blah, blah, blah. White in shadow is darker than black in light. Isn't that interesting? And okay, so I'll say it again. White in shadow is darker than black in light.
Wow.
It's crazy. But there's, in Kevin McPherson, one of his books, I think it's Fill Your Oil Paintings with Light, or there's another one, landscape painting kind of thing. One of them, he has this cow, like a little plastic cow toy, and he has it sitting, it's black and white, it's sitting half in light and half in shadow, and you can clearly see the black part in the light is lighter than the white that's in the shadow. So if that helps you when you're painting something, just, you know, if something's not looking right, maybe stop and think, okay, are all my shadows as dark as they need to be, you know, so.
Will you say that phrase one more
I
time?
will, if I can. Let me see. Let's see. Okay,
Whitish.
anything in light is lighter than anything in shadow. So therefore, black in light is lighter than white in shadow. Black in light is lighter than white in shadow.
Now, who's on first?
I know. But you know what it's helped me with, especially, is when I'm outside painting in a roof. You know, you get that gray. That's another color. You know, it's like, what color is that roof? And it's usually this muddy, purpley something, you know. Okay, well, I usually would always paint it too dark. And it's in light most of the times, right? So I'd lighten it up because it's in light, and it's got to be lighter than anything in shadow. So it's hard to get your head wrapped around it, I know, but it's real valuable if you can write it down somewhere. And look at that book, because that book is really that picture of the cow. It's either in Fill Your Paintings with Light, I think is the name of his first book, and then there's a landscape painting inside and out. I can't remember which book has that illustration. I think it's that landscape painting one.
And who's the author?
Kevin McPherson.
Barbara, I saw a perfect example of that. I was walking down the golf course and there was a dark brown cooler and the lid was up. The lid was white.
The lid was...
And I'm about 500 feet away and I'm thinking, what on earth is that white thing that I'm seeing? And as I got closer, I realized it's the sun on the lid,
on the
dark brown lid.
Crazy. Isn't
So
that
that's
nuts?
when it hit home with me.
That is just nuts. Cool. I like it, just kind of, if I can, just, you know, plopping down in one stroke those highlights, like that. You know, they say Sargent would paint a nose over 5 times, but you scrape it off and do that. You know, have you ever seen, you know, his paintings in person? Like, there's one in Montgomery Museum with the lady, she's got pearls on, and every little highlight on those pearls, Madison, I'm sure you've seen it many times, it's just a little, you know, a wash of white. I mean, it's just like the finest little one brush stroke. And so I've read that he would paint it over and over, but every time do that. You know, if it didn't look right, scrape it off, do it again. Don't fiddle with it, you know. So that's been inspiring to go out and see that.
Barbara, we're probably biased, but I would say that Sargent's probably one of the best in the...
I think so. It's amazing.
If y'all haven't seen it, it's worth the drive just to see it. It's one of the greatest Sargent portraits.
It's beautiful. She's got this like tulle or something on her dress, so you get this transparency, you know. She's got these pearls, the flesh, her arms on a mantle, and so the grooves in this mantle. Oh, it's beautiful, y'all. It's gorgeous. It's the best thing in the collection, I think. Don't you think, Madison?
I think that and
the hopper. Huh? What's your?
The hopper.
The hopper, me too.
Oh, yeah. It stays there all the time?
Yeah, it's permanent collection. And we also have a cassette that is, it's a great one, I think. It's the little girl sewing, Marguerite, I think it's called Marguerite Sewing.
The sergeant from here is now in Boston or something.
Oh, traveling around?
And the Edward Hopper from the Montgomery Museum traveled to New York for the Hopper retrospective witness.
Let me stop and say something. I'm thinking about these hydrangeas, even with a tree, you know, you got a shadow mass, shadow side, a light side, but yet you'll see some little glints of light, like on the shadow side where the leaves maybe here and there are getting a little pop, or these little petals over here are getting a little pop. You can clearly see, you know, some of these, even though this is the shadow side, you've got a few little hits. So just don't overdo it so that you break up that mass of dark that you've laid in, or it will get confusing so that you don't see your shadow side anymore. So just enough here and there to give it a little hint. Okay. doing good.
Amazing.
Good. We got another campus?
You can work another 45 minutes and be all right.
I'm sure you got one in the car.
I did. I brought an extra one and John's gone. The spare, especially when you're painting a demo. In case something, I got hit from behind yesterday. And the first thing I thought was, the art stuff in the back, you know, and my turkey I just bought at Walmart too, right? Yeah. But a girl hit me from behind and there was absolutely no damage, but we had to wait there for an hour for the police to get there.
And you're thinking about your turkey.
And my turkey was okay, thank goodness. I know, I was thinking my turkey and like butter beans and anyway, so but it took forever because we have like no policemen left in Montgomery anymore, and we were blocking everybody in Montgomery because we're on Chantilly. Yeah, so half of Montgomery was mad at us for. And I called back and said, "There's no damage. Can we move our car?" And the lady said, "No, ma'am, that's not good. Just checking." Everybody's mad.
Barbara, can we tell how to see your work, like Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, Instagram, it's all the same, Barbara Davis Art, although my Facebook page, they complicated things on Facebook, and I don't use it very much, because it's stuff with ads and stuff on the business page, so I just don't. But Barbara Binford is my my maiden name, Barbara Binford Davis on Facebook, and then Barbara Davis Art on Instagram, and that's my website too, Barbara Davis Art. But I love Instagram so much. Too much.
Did you say Benson?
Binford, B-I-N-F-O-R-D. It's a weird one. Okay, I do want to make this darker in these shadow areas down in here. You know, thinking edges also. I know a lot of y'all have taken my classes before, and I have this board that in a Richard Schmidt book, he talks about, you know, when you evaluate your paintings and you're like, what can be wrong? What I feel like something's wrong with it, but I don't know what. And he says, I've added one to his list because he says, check your drawing first and composition. He kind of lumps those together, and check your values and check your color and check your edges. So edges used to stump me a lot because I just didn't think about them much, and I didn't know where should I have a soft edge, where a hard edge. But like we talked about, hard edges where your contrast and value is strong, that creates a hard edge, and your eye goes right to it. So if the contrast and value, so like we got a hard edge right there, we got a soft edge like here and here, because the values are close. So you want a variety of edges, and you can manipulate the eye around the painting using those edges, you know, making hard edges travel. Hopefully they'll travel around when I'm done. You know, the other thing I added to it, based on that Carol Marine book that we were talking about, is variety, because it's so, what she talks about is so true. It's like you want variety of line, variety in color temperature, variety in shape, in darks and lights. Variety can be in so many things, you know, texture. So if you're struggling with something, you know, check out variety and see, does everything look flat? You know, do I need to break out a palette knife or scrape something down and paint on it again? Sometimes I'll use that, you know, if I want line quality, that little Jumbo Jet Black. That's what it's called. Just hit me, Jumbo Jet Black. Okay, from Jerry's, a lot of J's, Jumbo Jet Black. And it comes in a sepia and a white, but all I use is the black one usually. But sometimes, you know, let's say I want some line quality or something, I might paint over these lines, but sometimes you can just see through them. And maybe some over there that have them.
Oil paint stick?
It's like it's not really, I think it's oil, like oil infused graphite, I think is what it is. So it's not, it kind of acts like a pencil, really, a dark pencil. Anyway, but, so I might just come in for fun and add some lines, and then I might leave some, or I might paint over. You know, let's say I make a big line right there, for example, and then just come back in, paint over some of it. So you lose some. It doesn't look as contrived if I make some of it disappear.
Was that like an ebony pencil?
Like a what pencil? No, it's not total graphite. It's got some oil in it too, so it's different. Y'all are welcome to come and mark on something in that cool book or whatever. Okay, I feel like I want to make some of this, since the light's coming in this way. Work on some of that cloth just a little bit, making it a little bit lighter. You know, I don't usually have titanium buff on my palette, but I thought for today with this rug and that little pumpkin, it might be a good addition. Mainly I use it for, like, if I'm painting a big thick gallery wrap canvas, I'll paint my edges with that titanium buff because it's just neutral, and I feel like if somebody doesn't want to frame it and they want to hang it on the wall right away, it's just so neutral, it goes with everything. So there's that stem there. I kind of avoided the stem. Let's put that in. And you know, that's another thing. That stem looks really green from where I am. You know, they say we have concept for everything, and it makes us struggle with drawing a lot of times. Like when you're little, you assign, you know, the eye shape, things you would draw on your notebook paper or whatever, or the flower, you know, is like this, or the leaf is like that. Okay, so it's so embedded in our head, it's hard to get past when you're drawing an eye. You want to do it the old way, and it may not even be that way at all. So you have to just put those things aside, and I think color is one of those things too. Like that stem, I was just going for the brown, you know, it's a brown tree trunk, it's a brown stem or whatever, but no, it's really green. So just try to throw all those things out of your head and just look, really look and see what you're observing. Shadow side.
Oil infused charcoal.
Oh, it's graphite, I think.
It says it on their website.
Oh, it does? Charcoal? Okay, good. Gotcha. Thank you. They're really handy little things. You know, they say too, the longer you look at something, the more you can see the color. So just, you know, I just take my time sometimes, like with this pumpkin, when I'm having a struggle, trying to figure out what that color is, and just sit and look at it for a while, and don't try and jump in and paint it right away. And compare it to colors all around it.
Barbara, you can keep painting, but we're gonna do draw prizes
Oh,
real
sure,
quick,
yeah.
and she's gonna call out some numbers.
Okay.
Has everybody signed the list so you can be in there for a draw prize? If you haven't, go over there and sign.
I'm gonna talk about reflected light while everybody's signing up. This, you know, when you have a sphere, you get light travels in a straight line, and if you paint little like wood block balls, you know, little spheres that you get in a block thing, or paint some eggs or anything like that, it's a real good lesson to learn how light falls on something. And it's true with this pumpkins, with even with hydrangeas, or so many things that you paint that are spherical, lemons, you know, common things in a still life. So light travels in a straight line and bounces back up, and so you'll get this little, you can see it over there, a little bit, you know, shine down underneath of reflected light, and there'll be some under here, and it just really helps round that form out to get just that subtlety in. And then the other thing about reflected light, I see over here, I can definitely see there's orange right there, so there's light bouncing off the pumpkin, you know, things like that, just to notice and keep a lookout for. And when you know they're happening, then you really are looking for them. And My very favorite thing to paint, skies. Yeah, I do. I love it. And, yeah, I just kind of get lost in there. But right at this moment, my favorite thing to paint are Christmas ornaments. And we almost did Christmas ornaments for the demo. And
You post on Instagram, it's beautiful.
oh, you're so sweet. I think because you just get lost, and the same thing with cloud, you just get lost in it, you know, and all the color and everything that just, the more you look at it, the more you see. And those ornaments, I mean, it's just fascinating to sit and look at. Yeah, anything with a reflection or light. And I almost brought a, like a julep cup, you know. I love to paint those with flowers in them or something because those reflections all around it. Reflections, really. Maybe I'll change that. Maybe it's reflections. It's just like, I mean, you just get mesmerized, you know.
Barbara, keep painting, I'm just gonna call out.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead. Okay.
Marlene Bolden.
Yes.
What about?
Guess I should pay my dues now.
Jimmy Dixon. Beverly Banks. Christy Bowman. Dale Hurley.
What are y'all wearing? Did you go pick out one?
Yeah.
Yeah, little goodies, little art goodies. Who are they from? We probably should advertise.
Sarah knows.
Sarah knows.
Oh, that's where she brought the ball.
It's Alabama art.
I know.
Melanie O'Keefe.
Oh.
And the last one is Melania Lang.
Elena. It's a blue, I don't think it's not King's blue. No, it's not. It's a pretty one. It's a pretty one. That's fine.
Janet Sanders.
Those are from Alabama Art.
And Dick Blake, we're still going through the Dick. Oh, yeah, and Dick Blake, yeah. That was a set of aquarelle from Dick Blake. Gosh, for somebody that uses those, it's awesome.
Y'all are very lucky because we don't have general memberships meetings in Montgomery Art Guild. We don't have a place, do we?
Oh, the city has been so good, they don't charge us for this.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The library does for the nighttime meetings. But
Yeah, that's so good.
This is nice.
Probably should stand back and look at it and see. So what I'll probably do is take like a big brush and, anybody struggle with backgrounds? Me too.
Big brush.
Yeah. Just. I'm working on a portrait right now and it's like, Okay, now I got the portrait.
Oh, no.
Now the background is coming together, but you know what I mean? It's just, you don't want it to look hokey. You don't want it to look like Olin Mills.
No.
Y'all remember Olin Mills? The young ones
Yes.
probably don't. Probably too many remember.
No.
Yeah.
It was,
We just don't.
I want my painting of me. As a wee one.
I had all my boys, they can get them instant pictures in there.
Just because I think it would be nice to have some rosiness in here.
Yeah, that made a big difference.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mixed up some cad red light into a puddle that I had that was mostly titanium buff. I'm gonna pop this little light in here too
That's really nice.
that's coming through. And you know, another thing too is putting in, a lot of times with roses, I want to mix in some pink into orange and
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. Oh, God. It just pops. It looks bumpy. You did good.
Good.
Yeah.
That one, well, that was not as bumpy, but it. They have these funny little shapes.
Yeah.
So, and that color is so hard to figure out. And I think about Susan Lyon. What would she do? Where would she put her? You know, the rich color on that pumpkin, which I don't really see any rich color in.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
It is, isn't it? So maybe because I've got this yellow over here that's sort of isolated, and although I do think I'm seeing a little bit of that yellow reflection up into that pumpkin, if I put in maybe where that light hits the shadow, make it more golden. I think over here I could lose an edge because the light of the cloth, the light of the pumpkin, and in here I think I can make that a little darker. I love painting fall leaves, y'all. The colors are so pretty this year. And up here, they're even prettier.
I was almost snapping a picture. It's like riding down the road. There's a tree.
I saw where the
it's gorgeous.
ginkgo tree had the aldriches.
Oh, yeah.
Peeking.
At Aldridge
Yeah,
Gardens.
they have that gigantic ginkgo.
Oh, they do? I've only been there in the summertime, and the hydrangea
It's
thing.
huge, and it's blooming, it's like bright yellow right
Oh,
there.
wow.
That's probably starting to fade
Yeah.
out.
I love it. And when the sky, like this morning, the coming up here, the clouds were, you know, purpley, and the sun was starting to come out, but when the contrast to the purple and
So
the sky.
pretty.
Mm. Just want to pop a few little tiny spots of nothing too distracting, but just a few little darks and darker areas in the bundle of hydrangeas. I think that's about as far as I would take it. I mean, I hate to finish up early, but we can talk.
No,
It's fine.
Oh, I love it.
But I think I would stop. If I did anything else, maybe playing these hydrangeas just a little bit more, but not much. So, see, I'm putting different blue, a little, popping some Viridian into some places. and the lights.
Barbara, it seems like from following you, don't you paint sometimes outside, like, it's still like when you choose the natural
Oh,
light?
outside, yes. But it is so much fun to paint flowers outside, you know, because you see stuff you just wouldn't believe, especially a rose, you know, like a white rose outside, and you see deep down in the middle, it's like a cad red light, you know, and sometimes you just can't see it inside. And then it's just amazing. There's very little white in the white rose outside, and in like the sky where the light hits the rose, it can be light blue because of the reflection of the sky. It's amazing, but it's so interesting too because it seems like time just flies by. When you're painting the landscape, you notice those little shadow shifts. You know, when you're out there an hour or two, your shadows are totally different, you know, from the beginning. But on a still life, it's like every 10 minutes, it seems like they just completely change. So you got to work fast and lay in those shadows. But you will learn so much.
How fast do you paint outside?
Outside, like I would say probably faster than I should, I'm sure, but like about an hour and a half to get a small one done, you know. It really, I don't know why. I don't know if I just get excited and paint real fast or what.
Can
but
I say something about But we had a plein air, the first time I met her, I think, it was down at Pike Road, whenever it was.
Yeah.
And I came up, I saw her painting, introduced myself. She had finished, I think maybe finished 2 before I had even started for this. How do you do that? She said, you get faster.
You do get faster because you have to, you know, right?
And it's helped a lot.
It does help, and it's helped me. It's funny how plein air painting has allowed me to do these wedding. You know, I don't know if y'all know about the wedding paintings I'll do at receptions and stuff, and although I think I'm getting really tired of that, but you know, it helped me because people come up and talk to you when you're outside painting. So I got used to just chatting with people as I paint, because at a wedding reception, they are going to come talk. In fact, I told this story I tell it all the time. This little flower girl came up to me one time and she said, "Would you paint my wedding if you're still alive?" Get out of here. So cute. Oh gosh. And then these little boys one time, they said, "Will you paint us in the painting?" And I said, "Sure." So they went out in the middle of the reception area and they had Coke cans and they were and so I painted them in, and I forgot to tell them, you know, you're released. Like 10 minutes later, they were still standing there with their Coke cans. They were just really in a pose, you know, a lively pose, right? They were so cute. But all that plein air painting helps me to get these, you know, wedding receptions done fast, and of course there's not really people much outside when I'm painting, but so one thing I would do in the morning is on the Saturday morning of the wedding on QVC, they'll have these fashion whatever segments in the morning, so they'll have this model come out and she's standing there like this and she's moved like this, and then they'll walk off and then another one will come on. So real quick I do little gesture drawings in my sketchbook and try and get, you know, the gesture down real fast, and then learning head, you know, proportions, and like you've got 4 head lengths to your bottom of your torso, and then your legs and your elbows are at your waist, and I'm trying to think what are some others. Anyway, so elbows at the waist is real important for getting that, you know, proportion right in the body. So learning those things and then trying to work fast helps me do that.
So you don't ever take a photograph, like on your cell phone or anything?
Oh, I do. Okay. I sure do. But you know what? I didn't for the longest time. Even when I were dancing, I didn't. And I don't know why. I think my phone wasn't any good when I first started it. Things have advanced so much since I first started doing them, you know. So, but yeah, I take a lot of pictures. And like if grandma comes up and they want her in the painting, I take her pictures so she can go on, you know. And so it's fun. It's fun. Still, I have a lot I need to go through and get rid of on my phone. I've got people I don't even know who they are. So just looking at something dark as dark as we get close to the end. Recognition stuff. Yeah. You want paper towels in them? Good. So fun. Does anybody else have any questions or anything, or what time we got?
We fine.
Got a lot of time.
Go get that other painting.
I wish I had one. We didn't have an ornament. I wish I'd done an ornament.
Oh, this is fabulous.
This is wonderful.
It's
Thank
wonderful.
you
You
so
did good.
much.